Hello, everybody, and welcome to our webinar today. So today we're going to be talking about something that I think I've talked about maybe once or twice before, although I cannot find any past history of me covering this, which would be hard to believe, but I know I've at least been through this once. And a lot of people ask me about this, and I honestly believe that this is probably one of the most important things that you should know as you're running a business, especially when you're starting a business. I mean, the beginning 1 to 3 years, this could be crucial. This could be the difference between you getting a business off the ground and making it successful, or you struggling and not doing so. And it really has to do with hiring virtual assistants. Now, I've had a lot of luck with virtual assistants. I think that when it comes to foreign contractors, I think we have, I don't know, 25 full-time foreign contractors that work with us here at Credit Suite in many different roles through the organization. And when we first started, you know, our COO, Megan, my business partner, she wasn't really familiar, wasn't really confident with them. And now it's interesting to see how many positions she fills with these virtual assistants. Whereas once before, she was kind of a non-believer. So if you're one of those people as well that's not really sure about hiring foreign contractors, virtual assistants, etc., then hopefully we can go through, change your mind today, and really show you the best way to do this where it's very, very effective. So when it comes to virtual contractors, I will give you a start and tell you where I started. I started when I owned a credit repair business, and I didn't have a lot of money. I mean, we were charging $99 a month for customers, and we also rolled out a plan for $199 a month, and we didn't have a lot of money to hire a bunch of people. So let me go back and say that this is one of the biggest mistakes that I see entrepreneurs make in general, is that when we first start a business, we don't have money, but we have a lot of time, or not a lot of time. We have time, but we don't have money. So what happens is we start taking on all the tasks of doing that business right from the beginning. Then what happens is we quickly run out of time. And then in a lot of cases, we then believe that the tasks that we've been doing, we're the only ones that can do them. Nobody can do them better than us. And we get into this trap where it's very hard to get out of that, because then we don't want to hire people, or we don't have the money to hire people. And then we're doing all the tasks, and the business just absolutely hits the wall and cannot grow because you're out of time to grow it. The reality is, we've all heard before, you got to work on the business, not in the business. And what that really means is, it means you have to start getting yourself set up from the very beginning, from the inception of the business, to not work in that business. Yes, you're going to do a lot of the heavy lifting in the beginning, and you should be doing a lot of the heavy lifting in the beginning. I'm a big believer that in a lot of the positions in the beginning of a company, you should be doing those. You should be learning how those go. Now, there's way too many things going on in the organization for me to have done them all before we bring other people in. But in the beginning, I think that that's necessary. But the problem is that when you take on too much and you don't have a plan to get yourself out of those tasks, then you get yourself caught in these monotonous tasks, working within the organization, doing all kinds of things, just treading water, and you can't remove yourself from the organization to start working on it. So let me give you an example. TrueBuild is a company that is a business credit building company. They were around well before I got into this space. And I talked to their CEO not so long ago. The guy says nasty things about us on Twitter and all kinds of things. He's just a mean-hearted person. I'm just not that way. But anyways, I called him up and just said, man, let's have some synergies. Like, what can I do to help you? And even after an hour of me just giving him advice and helping, he still turned around and started slamming us on social. Some people are just like that. But it's interesting in talking to him, because they've been doing business credit for over 10 years. They do $1 million in revenue, and they've not been able to break through that ceiling. And when I'm talking to him, he's still in there helping the customers do the actual business credit building. He is completely stuck within the organization, and he's found no way to get out. So the result is that after a decade, that business is not growing. He does not know how to grow it, because instead of him focusing on what he needs to be doing to grow the operation, he's stuck doing the actual manual labor legwork with his wife and with his daughter, instead of actually being able to grow the organization. This is a classic telltale story of what happens to a lot of people in business. They start it, they get involved in the details of the organization, that consumes their time, they can't get unstuck, nobody else can do it in their mind as well as they can, and then they find themselves in a position where they can never grow. I don't want that to happen to you. I want you to be able to succeed. And it happens right here with virtual assistants. So as I mentioned a few minutes ago, I first got my start with virtual assistants when I owned a credit repair business. What happened was we ran some ads on Craigslist, and they took off. We ran ads for how to get a mortgage with bad credit. Now, at this time, I was still in the mortgage business as well. So I was actually running the ads to get mortgages. But I had so many people with such bad credit responding that I owned a credit repair company too. And I thought these would be great credit repair ads. So we created this whole campaign, ran it nationwide, get a mortgage with bad credit. People would call into a call center. We would say, let me refer you to a mortgage broker, but your credit's pretty bad. You're going to need help. Let me refer you to a credit repair company. We would refer them over to our sales team. Our sales team would then take those calls and convert those into sales. And we did like 65 files a month for credit repair just from Craigslist. So it did very, very well for us. So those first call reps that worked for us were virtual assistants. So to test this, I didn't have a lot of money and I couldn't hire somebody 15, 20 bucks an hour. So I went to a place called Odesk, which you're seeing right here is now Upwork. And I hired my very first virtual assistant. Her name's Sarah. Sarah still works for me today after, I don't know, gosh, I guess going on 10 years. We've worked together 10 years to 12 years that she's worked with me. And I got her to basically get on the phone and handle phone calls. So the very first job I ever hired for was to her to get on the phone. Now, in the end, she ran the back end of that credit repair organization, which means she was the one that got the results back, updated the software with all the results, determined the dispute letters that were going to go out, organized the letters to get mailed. We had one person mail the letters, but everything else was being done by her on the back end. So that's a pretty elaborate task to have a virtual assistant at $4 or $5 an hour running the entire back end of a credit repair organization when they don't even know anything about credit is a pretty big task, considering she would get the results, update the system, look at credit reports, determine the next dispute letters that would go out, get the dispute letters ready to mail, all aspects of handling that back end. And I walked out of that experience and said, wow, like virtual assistants can do just about anything you need them to do if you learn the right way to train them. And I'm going to teach you that here as well today. So fast forward that when we started Credit Suite, I came in right out the bat with a virtual assistant. I brought one of the first moves I made was to hire Joni, who still is my main virtual assistant here at Credit Suite, and start giving her all the tasks that I knew I should not be doing. And then I helped starting to automate systems using her. Hey, this is what I want to do. Every time a YouTube video is done, here's the steps to take to get it on YouTube. Every time we do this, here's the steps. This webinar was created by her. The invitations that you received for this webinar were sent by her. So all these things that I knew were not worth of my time, she is actually doing. Now, beyond just that, there's a million other roles too. I mean, I was talking to one of our finance team lead, Rick, the other day, and he said, look, I'd really like to get a setter here in my office. Like, why do we have setters in the Philippines? I said, simple, because we couldn't afford setters if we spent $15 to $20 an hour for one. In the Philippines, they're $4 or $5. So I can get setters all day long, and we have a whole team of like 12 setters because we can afford to pay 12 setters because they're like $4 or $5 an hour. But if they were 15, 20 bucks an hour, then I might as well as get a full-blown sales rep for that full money. So the bottom line is there's a lot of positions and a lot of tasks you have every day that you shouldn't be doing that what I'm going to show you today can really be relative because you can remove almost all of those and move them to virtual assistants. So I'm going to show you right now the process of where to go to get them, how to hire them, what to look for, all of that other stuff. And I'll tell you before I get into the other training of this, that one of the best things to do is start your day in the morning, grab an Excel log and write what you do during that day. 9 o'clock, checked my email. 9:30, logged into the software, did this thing. Log what you do. The best way to know where virtual assistants can help remove tasks from you is to actually log what you're doing in a day. And then look at what you don't want to do or what's clearly not worthy of your time. And these are the tasks that you're going to have these virtual assistants do. So that being said, I'm even going to take a drink of water here. Okay, let's dive in. Where do you find them? A lot of places you can go. I went here to hire freelancers, Googled it. A lot of these sites, Upwork, Freelancer, Guru, a lot of them. I can tell you I've used them all. I can tell you without a doubt, Upwork.com is the absolute best to go through, okay? Without a doubt. And I'll tell you and show you why. Second best probably is onlinejobs.ph. I have some friends that like this. I've used it. I like it. It's okay. The talent pool, the ability to get contractors is way better on Upwork than it is onlinejobs.ph, but this is basically for Filipino workers, and I am a fan. We've hired definitely some people that have been long-term with us through onlinejobs.ph. This would be choice 2 for me. Upwork would be choice 1. There is no choice 3. Of all these other ones, from Guru to Freelancer to all these, I don't like any of them. I've never had success of getting in and getting a good enough supply of applicants to even really see what they can do. And I've used them quite a bit. I post a job. I don't get very many applicants. The applicant quality isn't good. The platforms aren't good. So choice A, Upwork. Choice B, onlinejobs.ph. I don't really recommend you use anything else. If you use another one and you disagree, that's cool. Everybody's got personal preferences. That's just from my experience. So on Upwork, if you go to Upwork, you can post a job for free. And let's walk through this process just to kind of show you how it works. I'm here at Upwork. I go to jobs, and I basically am going to what you just saw, which is post a job. First thing it asks me, what am I doing here? Is this long-term or short-term? Okay, let's say I want somebody for long-term position. Okay, I can reuse a previous post as well. Very common when I have our virtual assistants for us to do that. Now I'm going to say continue. Let's create your post. Okay, details about your project, enter the name of the post. So we're going to enter the name. We're going to say, let's say virtual assistant wanted. Okay, I don't like to say needed because I don't know, it's just a weird thing. I don't want them to think that I need anybody, that I just want. I don't know why, it's just a weird play, but I always say something like wanted. What do I want? So they're asking me here, and this is kind of important. I need to figure out the category that I want to be in, because that's where I'm going to get the most exposure. Now, if I'm coming in and I'm looking for just somebody that is a virtual assistant to do anything, let's look here: accounting, consulting, admin, customer service, data science, design, IT, legal, sales, marketing, writing, etc. I want customer service here is what I'm looking for. Select a specialty: customer service or tech support. Let's go customer service. Let's click save. Now we're in customer service. We're going to go ahead and click next. Here's a good description. I have found that your description, the shorter, the better, the more applicants you get. So I'd put something like, I'm not going to type all this in, but I put something like, I would type something like, we're looking to hire a full-time virtual assistant to our team. Here's what you'll be doing. We'll be asking you to do some tasks in Excel. You'll be working in our software Infusionsoft, and you'll also be, creating webinars and GoToWebinar. And then the third paragraph is qualifications. I'm looking for somebody that can work during the day. I'm looking for somebody that has high-speed internet access and a quiet office to work, whatever. I mean, only put the requirements that you really need. If I don't have somebody on the phone, I'm not going to put I need a quiet office. What I'm going to ultimately do in here is I'm ultimately going to come in here and I'm going to basically just say what I need. If I want somebody to work on Excel tasks, I'm going to say, look, I'd like somebody with Excel experience, the bare minimum of what I need. And I'm going to go back and pull up a previous job here. Okay, so this is description should be longer than 50 characters. Okay, I'll give you longer than 50 characters. There you go. So now we're going to come to next. Ongoing project, one-time project, complex project. We're going to say ongoing, and it gives you a little description of what they want. I do not add screening questions, but you absolutely can if you'd like to. Never done that. They're already tagging me here. They're already giving me some tags to choose from. Do I want any of these skills that are necessary, that are important? If you want to find the best applicants, click on the ones that do. I don't care. I don't need any of these skills. But if I want somebody that can handle calls or whatever, and you can go to see more, then you can choose your skills. I don't personally choose a lot of the skills, or we really use any. Always choose worldwide. Don't do US only, okay? Because if you want to get people that are affordable, you want to go worldwide. Now, don't get me wrong. We have, I don't know, 56, 60 team members in the United States. Okay, I'm all about hiring US team members. I'm all about hiring veterans, but I'm all about running a successful business. And there's things that none of those people should be doing that are not worthy of 15, 20 bucks an hour. So you want to go worldwide. Add regions. I do not add regions. That's not something I do, even though I like the Philippines and I could easily come in here and just choose that. Okay, I just leave that open to see the best pool of candidates that I have. Next, am I looking for anyone? Only Upwork talent, invite only. I always choose anyone. Okay, one freelancer, more than one. I only want one. Do you have freelancers and agencies that you want to invite? I don't care. Agencies are freelancers that are managed by, and this is asking for specific ones, but I don't personally care if it's a manager or if it's an agency or freelancer. The difference is there's a lot of call centers in the Philippines where they're agencies that hire and then they give the job to their reps to do. I do not like agencies. I don't exclude them here, I'm always willing to listen to what they say, but personally, I always prefer freelancers and not agencies, but I don't use that as a disqualifier. Do I want to pay by the hour, fixed price, pay by the hour, somebody's joining the team hourly, pay a fixed price, somebody that's setting up a website for me, just for a job, for example. What level do you want? Do you want expert? It's going to cost a lot more money. Or you want entry level, or do you want intermediate? Okay, I'm usually going for entry level here because I want somebody that's affordable. If I need something really that's professional, like I hired a comedian, I want an expert there. Okay, but in most cases, it's entry. Do I want more than 6 months, 3 to 6 months, 1 to 3 months, more than 30 hours? I want full time, more than 6 months, more than 30 hours. Okay, I'm going to go to next, and then it's giving me the description, everything I just typed in, and it lets me post the job now. Now I am going to leave and I am going to see if I could pull up a past job so you could actually see the details that we typed in here versus what I just showed there. So I'm going to go to here to reuse, and you can see it saved that as a draft for me. Okay, so here's a full-time advisor customer service call rep. Now I don't do this description, our human resources now handles this. So let's go ahead and go to next and see how she had this set up, customer service. And here you go. Now she has a little bit of a longer description, but you can see the description. We're seeking a long-term full-time advisor, customer service, take the steps that will help them build business credit. We're explaining what we want them to do. They're going to make 100 calls a day. We're putting the pay here. I don't always do that. My HR does. Must speak perfect English, very important. Now, I personally request a voice recording. If I'm ever getting somebody that's on the phone, I always say that they need to, and I put it in big bold, because if they don't do this, then I just get rid of them because they can't follow instructions. You must include a voice recording for me to even be considered. Okay, here we're talking about what they actually need, okay, what the job is, okay. And again, this is what we're looking for here: Spanish, English, If interested, here's the steps to take. She did the same thing: voice recording, details of the computer and headset you're going to be using, your internet speed, your long-term career goals, done like by a complete HR. This is why every company should have HR, because they do things like not half-ass like we do as entrepreneurs. But you can see here that this is pretty detailed. She's saying exactly what we need and nothing more. This is a person that's going to be on the phone, so we need their computer and headset to be good. We need them to have good internet. We need them to know what they're doing long term, because we don't want to hire somebody, go through the whole rigorous process of training if they're not into this for long term, and we're asking them for a voice recording. We wouldn't do that unless we have somebody on the phone. Okay, you can see here. Add screening questions. How many years of English phone customer service do you have? Do you have experience with Zendesk? Do you speak Spanish? So these are questions that she added in here that are relative for the position. She chose these tasks: email handling, chat support, customer service. Again, it's going to narrow down your applicant pool there. Worldwide, we went with on this position. Anyone, one freelancer, we went with on this position. Our entry level, right? We're looking for somebody that's experienced and speaks good English, but we're still looking for entry level here. 3 to 6 months. I don't know why she didn't put longer than 6 months, but we'll figure that out. Or we probably won't figure that out. And then here we go. That's what this whole position looks like in detail. So I kind of showed you how I would do it. You could see the human resources on our team is a little bit more elaborate with what they're doing here, with screening questions, with expertise and everything, but pretty good 2 looks at how to basically post a job. So let's leave, and then let's go look at some actual job posts and applicants. So I'm going to go up here to freelancers. Oh, actually, no, I'm actually not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look and show you what this looks like. So if I come here, let's go to admin support, and I'm going to pull up virtual assistant wanted. Okay, this was 9 months ago that we filled this position. So what I want to do here is see if I can view proposal, and then I'm going to go here to archived, and I'm going to show you what applicants look like here. So this is what applicants look like. So this is basically what happened when we posted the job and people come in and look, okay? So we can see that this is basically the applicant pool here. Now, the very first thing I do whenever I'm filtering people out, and in this case, we are just looking for a straight virtual assistant, right? So I'm looking for somebody $4, $5, $6 an hour. So let's say the job went live, and this is what it looks like. I'm going to have about, now I've archived them. These are people that did not work or qualified. Actually, this is going to be good. Let's go to all proposed. This will be good. And this is what it looks like. This is what it will look like when people start applying to your jobs. Now, you'll also, when this is live and it's not a past job that's closed, you'll have an option of up, thumbs up, you like this applicant, thumbs down. And when you hit thumbs down, they get removed from your list and they go over here to proposals. They're not here in the main section. But when this is live, you'll see what that looks like. So again, your live will look very much like this, but I'll have a thumbs up, thumbs down. I go thumbs down, they get removed from my list. I know they won't work. I go thumbs up, they go into a short list of people that I know that I like. See short list archived? If I went and said this person thumbs down, they'd go to archived. If I did thumbs up, they would go to shortlisted, is what happens. So the very first thing I do is I'm typically going to go through and thumbs down everybody that's not from the Philippines. Now, this isn't always the case. If I'm hiring people for web type work, I'm fine with India. India does pretty well. Pakistan does pretty well with website work. But 95% of the time, we're hiring people from the Philippines. That's what we're doing. So I always like to not only rule out everybody else, but for the most part, I'm going to. So in this case, I'm looking for a virtual assistant, and I'm going to take out everybody that's not Philippines. Ukraine, thumbs down. Macedonia, thumbs down. United States, Serbia, Canada, thumbs down. Brazil, Jamaica, thumbs down. I'm going to thumbs down everybody that's not Philippines. That would eliminate them from my list, and they would all move to archived, and I'm looking at a shorter list. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come through Philippines people that are too high of an hourly rate, and I'm going to thumbs down them too. $7 an hour, too much to start for a VA, thumbs down. Okay, I got another Philippines, $4.44, she can stay. Okay, I've got another Philippines here, $6 an hour, still too high for me, thumbs down, you're going to go. Okay, another Philippines, $15 an hour, you're definitely gone, thumbs down. Philippines, $5 an hour, you can stay for now. You pass this round of tests per se. Philippines, $8 an hour, thumbs down. Okay, Philippines, $4 an hour, I'm going to keep them. So this is how I literally go through this process. Everybody from the Philippines gets thumbs down. Or not from the Philippines gets thumbs down. Then I'm going to go down and look at people whose rates are too high, thumbs down every one of them. I might, what's too high? I may keep $4 to $6 an hour. If they're in the $4 to $6 an hour range, I'll probably keep them if they're from the Philippines. So now I've went through and I've eliminated everybody from the list. Now, if this was real world, all these people would already be gone. But since this is a past job, I can't do that. So I would only have Filipinos that are basically $4 to $6 an hour range. Okay. And the next thing I typically do, I can start eliminating men. Don't know why, not sexist, but women Filipinos I've crushed it with. We've had some success with men. And so I'm not going to tell you to do this. As a matter of fact, my HR would probably not be happy at all if she said that I did that, but that's what I do. I like Filipino women seem to be better for me and have worked better in the past than Filipino man. So what I typically would do is go through anybody that's left here, and I would typically go through and eliminate any of the guy candidates that I had. This guy was $8 an hour, so he was already eliminated. Okay, we eliminated him because he didn't have the hourly wage. Alvin, I'm going to eliminate Alvin because he's a guy, and I've got other women applicants here that I tend to like better in the Philippines. And so I've eliminated them. Now I've come through, I've eliminated anybody not from the Philippines, which again, you could have done that in the very beginning if you set that up as your requirement. I've eliminated people that are too much money. Too much for me is over $6 an hour for this position. And I've eliminated the men because I have enough applicants here that are females, that are Filipinos. Personally, I've just had better success there. So now what you can do is look at a couple things here. Now I'm looking at how much they've earned. It tells me basically how much work they've done here on Upwork. So here's somebody that's earned $500 and here's somebody that's earned 20K, right? And I know Hannah, I see Hannah apply for quite a few jobs. I don't know why we haven't hired her yet. We'll look at her applicant. So you can see this person's earned $20,000. This person's earned $500. This person's earned $90, not a lot of money. So I'm looking for somebody that's earned some money here. And the reason for that is because I need somebody, as you're going to see in my next step, that has experience and that has employer feedback. I'm hiring strictly based on employer feedback. That's what I'm hiring for. So when I'm coming in here, she's going to stay. She's worked 500. She's from the Philippines. Let's go next to the next person that would have stayed. She would still be on our list. She's earned 9K, $6 an hour, Philippines. You're going to stay. Okay. Then I come in here. $15 an hour. She's already gone. We already eliminated her. $5 an hour, 1K earns. She's got some earnings there, so we would keep her. 4K earned. He was too much money. He was already gone. Didn't make our list. He didn't make our list either. She made our list. 4K earned. So we're left with basically, here's $100 earned. She's gone. And I'll show you why. She's only earned $100, and I'll show you why I'm eliminating her. If I come in here, I don't have enough work history. Okay, well, first of all, our work history is bad, but without even opening our profile, I can see that only earning $100, I do not have enough job history to make a decision here. And you'll see what I mean when I go to show somebody that has experience. So in this case, I would eliminate her immediately on that criteria that she hasn't earned enough money, because I don't even want to waste my time with the click, because the click tells me that I've only got one job and one feedback to look at. That's not enough for me to make a decision. So here we are, right? We've eliminated based on country. We've eliminated people that didn't want too much money. I kind of have some little quirks where I like the women Filipinos better, and we've eliminated people that haven't earned a lot of money. Now we're left with the remainder. Now I'm going to need to open them up if this looks good. If they haven't completed very many jobs, like I don't even want to talk to them. 85% job success rate isn't bad. So as a matter of fact, $7 an hour, I probably should have eliminated her, but she's already gone. It's too late, hindsight. So here we go. So this girl, $500 she's earned, 444. This is a weird number, but it's not a weird number. Upwork is taking a 10% charge on this. Now, what I do, I continue to hire them through Upwork. And if I know they're going to be a full-time employee, we remove them from Upwork and then we pay them directly. I think there's a bank called like Metro Bank. That might not be right, so don't quote me. But there's a bank in the Philippines that's really easy for us to ACH money into, and I think it's Metro Bank. But then all we do is we have them get signed up with that bank, and we just direct deposit the pay like we do with the rest of our team members. But we consider them to be contractors, so we don't put them on payroll and have taxes taken out, et cetera. As a matter of fact, this is considered a marketing expense for us because they're not employees. You don't have to pay taxes on these people, or employment or unemployment or any of that crap that you have to worry about for you stateside employees. So pretty nice. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I've got an hourly rate of $4.44. Upwork's charging 10%. So they are charging 44 cents and she's getting paid $4. Again, if she works out for me long term, I'm going to pay her direct and get her out of Upwork. So I'm not going to have to pay Upwork this rate, but I'm going to keep her in Upwork till I know she's going to work, and I'll show you why. For one of the which is Upwork helped me find her. It's only fair that they make their money, but I'm not going to hire somebody for 10 years and Upwork collects fees. That's insane. So again, I'm going to give Upwork their shot to earn their money and then move her to a direct pay. Now, what I'm going to do is look at this. And you see this? This is all I really care about. This is all I care about, which is work history and feedback. This is why I told you, you need to find people that have earned some money. Now, she only has earned $500 more or plus. It'd be 1,000 plus if it was over 1,000. She's only earned 500 or 1,000 bucks. But earning that money, unlike that one person we looked at, look at how many past jobs she has. So I can get a pretty good read on what kind of worker I have here from her feedback. So this is what I'm going to look at. And let's be honest. I mean, you look at this, you tell me. I love Upwork versus hiring anywhere else, even stateside employees, because if I had this kind of feedback from every person's past employment, like, you know how hiring would be so simple? But we don't have that when we interview applicants. So it's hard in the United States because we don't actually have work history feedback from employers. But here we do. I'm looking for a virtual assistant. So what I'm looking for preferably here are jobs pretty close to what I'm hiring for. Find pictures, writer, local in the Philippines to find key persons info, beta testers, Excel, market research, list builder, contact information. I'm preferably looking for somebody that has jobs in the past they've done that are somewhat in the ballpark of what I'm trying to get done, because I want to see how they performed on those kind of jobs. If they don't have those and I have enough applicants, I move on. So if I'm looking for a writer and I have all this past history and none of these are related to writing, well, then I move on. I don't even have enough experience with her or him in the writing position to know if they're going to be good or bad. So now what I'm looking for is a few different things. One, what is the ranking here? 5, 3.2, 5, 5, 5. A lot of really good feedback. She's impressive. She's impressed a lot of people that are giving her 5s or 3.2. Now, I don't know about you, but I have a tendency to give a lot of people 5 stars when they probably don't deserve it because I own a business. Like, I know what it's like when people like give me 3 stars or 4 stars, and it hurts my reputation, and I don't like to do that to other people. So I either like never give feedback or give people 5 stars. I know I might be an exception. You might be like me, but I'm like that. So 5 stars alone doesn't work for me. What I need is this. I need a description of what really happened here. Hannah has great skills and ability. Unfortunately, on 2 separate occasions after accepting assignments, she notified me at the last minute that she was not able to start or complete work because of other obligations. As a result, we had to part ways. So that's good feedback. We understand what happened there. So we come now. I would tell you if I saw this, what I would do, I would look at their job description. Because the reason I would personally look at the job description, if it lets me see it, which sometimes it doesn't because it's private, is because I can see that their expectations were off, the employer. Sometimes when they leave feedback like that, I'll look at the job and then like their job sucks. Like what they're asking the person to do, clearly they were going to have problems with, and it's an employer problem. Here the job is private, so I can't determine that. So I see a lot of 5 stars. And now let's look at some more comments here. Hannah is a conscientious writer with very good communication. She completed the job expertly and followed the directions given. As a result, revisions were kept to a minimum. Great feedback. Hannah is very responsive and kind. Really enjoy working with her, and I'll hire her again. Great feedback. Excellent job. Very tough. If you're gonna, you could just leave somebody 5 stars like this person did, or you could take the time to write comments. I've found that if somebody takes the time to write comments, they're pretty happy with that person. Like when I read an audiobook or listen to an audiobook, I leave everybody 5 stars or don't leave them a ranking if the book sucked. But if it's really blew me away, I leave comments. Don't know how you are, I'm that way. So if I'm blown away, I'm taking the time to leave comments here. Very capable. Hannah's a great self-managed skills, but also communicates well, asks smart questions, recommend. Hannah did a great job, challenging qualitative and quantitative market data research. She handled tech requests in her stride. So you can see this is a good applicant here. I got somebody here that's willing to work for $4 an hour. Okay, she's completed a lot of jobs in the past at a near 90% success rate. Okay, she's got plenty of good feedback from employers. They really like working for her. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is look here. How much did she earn at these jobs? Now, these were all fixed price. They're not hourly, so it's not fair. This is hourly. $3 an hour, 39 hours. Okay, purge Excel file. So they probably the job was done. Do so well, I gave her other people's work. Okay, so the job was done. But what I'm looking for here is not an hour, not 2 hours, right? Like if she sucked, she would have been gone after an hour or 2 hours. But she worked with this employer for 39 hours, 13 hours, 22 hours, 49 hours. You don't hire people for 50 hours that suck if they're doing jobs that don't require full-time pay, right? Needless built for specific industry. So I'm looking here. I like what I see. I have somebody here that's a woman from the Philippines, good hourly rate, completed a lot of work in the past. She's got really good feedback from employers, a lot of 5 stars. Okay, only one that's not. And this happened in the beginning of it. So right away, if I was going to have the same problem as this employer, I would have it right away because that's what they had right in the beginning. And she's actually on her hourly jobs worked some hours here. She's worked quite a few hours for these employers. So to me, this is a good candidate. This is enough for me, literally, to hire her. Now, again, I'm not HR. My HR would tell you about an interview they conduct and a job task they may give her to complete and this other crap. I wouldn't. I'd hire this girl. I would Skype her, or I would message her right now. And then what I would do, and it gives you a chance if she's active, I'm just looking to see when she responds. When I message somebody on here, I'm just trying to figure out how long it even takes them to respond. That's what I'm looking for. Now you have to be fair. Filipinos, it's nighttime there right now. Okay, so some Filipinos will work during the day. They'll work through their daytime and stay up through the night because they want to work for U.S. employers. Some are the opposite. I believe in having coverage 24/7. If I wake up at 3 in the morning and have an idea, I want somebody to be there on the other end that I say, hey, please do this for me because I have a great idea and it's done before I wake up. That's what I love about Sarah. Sarah works all night. She's my virtual assistant that works at night. Joni's my virtual assistant that works during the day. I get up at 3 in the morning. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was a great idea. I grab the phone. I message Sarah, please get this done. And I go back to bed. And then I wake up and the job is done. Pretty cool. So I don't have a problem having Filipinos work at night, but when you're looking for response time, keep in mind it's 2:35 a.m. her time right now, and Upwork tells me that. So I don't look at this cover letter. You could. If I'm going to have somebody that's going to be writing people, well, then I'm going to go ahead and read this. I need to see what their cover letter says to see if they could write clearly. I don't even care about it outside of that. And I don't care about any of the rest of this junk either. I do care about their portfolio if it's somebody that I'm hiring for something artistic, graphics work, website design, logo creation. Well, then it's all about their portfolio, right? I mean, I'm basing their success based on their portfolio, on those things. Outside of that, I don't really care. Don't really care about skills. Employment history, this is where she's worked. I don't really care because I have all of this, and other experiences and education. Now, you'll learn that Filipinos almost all have bachelor's degrees. Like in the Philippines, like graduating college is like graduating high school in the United States. Like, you know, it's equivalent, right? I mean, it's acceptable here to graduate high school. Not a lot of people don't graduate high school, and those are the people that, you know, nothing bad about people if you didn't graduate high school. I'm not saying anything bad, but I'm being honest. If you're going to hire somebody and they don't have a high school education, yeah, probably not going to hire them. Over there, college graduates are the same way. They almost all have college degrees, almost all of them. So she's got a college degree in Bachelor of Science, not surprising there. She's got some other experience here, blah, blah, blah. 95% of my job hiring decision I got right here in this. It all came from that section. So here, let's review somebody else. She only had 500 earned. Let's look at somebody that had a lot more earned. Let's look at who else we're going to pit her up against. So you were eliminated. Who didn't we eliminate that could have also worked here? Philippines. 0 earned. She never would have made it, but she didn't because 15 bucks an hour. Asking for way too much money and no history. She's got no fighting chance. $5 an hour, Philippines. Desiree. Let's look at Desiree. Skip past all the junk right here. Don't care about cover letter. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Watch immediately. See how this work history feedback? 2 jobs. I'm out. Peace out. See ya. Thumbs down. Gone. Even though she's earned 1K, even though she fits in my hourly rate, even though she's from the Philippines, I make my decision here. If I don't have enough work history, I'm done. I'm out. I'm gone. See ya. I have way too many applicants that are going to apply for this job to have to deal with that. So I'm going to come in. I'm going to continue to look for somebody else that would have fit the bill. $5, 10 grand earned. She didn't make the bill. Virtual assistant. She would have made it. So let's look at Yvonne. So Yvonne, skipping to all that I care about. Oh, actually, you know what? I didn't look at that other person. So let me go back. I shouldn't have eliminated her. I didn't look at that correctly. Let me go back. I'm sorry. Please come back to me. Here, let me look at you again. Consider. Here you go. Desiree. So I didn't look at Desiree correctly. What I needed. Oh, I did look at Desiree correctly. She doesn't have any other jobs. Now, here's another telltale sign. When you have a bunch of people that have a bunch of jobs in progress, this is a turnoff to me. If she's working an hourly job, she's working 1, 2, 3, 4 hourly jobs currently. So how's she supposed to work for me when she's got 5 jobs working, and this is just a fixed price, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 other hourly jobs? Like, that doesn't even make sense. So I would have concerns here, even though she didn't have the experience, because she's working too many active jobs right now. So I don't need her working 5 jobs. So let's go back to Yvonne. So Yvonne here has worked 2 jobs recently and 22 other here. Let's look and see what we got going on. Admin assistant, here's their feedback. Fine. Thanks for those details. Fine. That's really going to help me. Thank you. So 65 hours, 63 hours. We're good here. Great team manager, managed a team. That's good. Good quality service. Vaughn is very helpful, very responsible, fast learner, recommend. All great things we want to hear, right? All work history. Okay, ooh, here we go. Again, red flag, job in progress, job in progress, job in progress, job in progress. I don't care about fixed price jobs, but I do care about hourly. The fact that she's working 1, 2, 3 jobs in progress might prove to be a problem. Now, I can see here that her hourly rate here is why she's still looking for work. So if I pay her a little more than this job Amazon arbitrage, then I might have a chance of stealing her from them. But if I'm interviewing her, I'm going to ask her what she's doing with these other jobs. Okay, but she's worked at these jobs for a while, so that's pretty good history. And then look at my feedback: 5.5555s, 2.6555, and then we have more here. So let's go look at our 2.65. Let's see where she messed up. I always like to look at that first. Yvonne was very friendly and polite, but unfortunately kept disappearing and only logged a few hours of work over 2 months. You understand why this happened? Because this person didn't look at what I'm telling you to look at. Well, of course she disappeared. She's working like 4 freaking jobs. So I'm telling you to look for how many jobs they have actively working, so you avoid the problem this employer made, which is that she disappeared. That's not surprising because she's working too many jobs. And so that's the issue here, okay? So, but unfortunately kept disappearing and only logged a few hours of work over 2 months. Well, if you were hiring her for more than a part-time job, then, she wouldn't have been able to only work a few hours over 2 months. You must not be expecting her to do very much work. So this isn't really a job that probably paid her very much money, which is why she did it. She said she had technical difficulties for about a month, and after saying the problem was resolved and that would start working, 5 weeks past the single minute of work being done. I suspect she's busy with other jobs, as she had a lot of hours logged with them and shows as being online daily. Well, it's so funny. I mean, we just talked about this. Yeah, you should look at that when you hire. This employer is just called themselves out. Yeah, she's working a lot of other jobs. You probably never should have hired her to begin with. Okay, so again, you can come here to look a little bit more, but there's nothing this person's saying that's surprising. We knew right away that the problem they had was that she's working too many jobs. So if we were going to hire her, we need commitment that she was going to quit those to avoid that problem. But the rest of them, it's good. A+ work. Yvonne was hardworking, a variety of projects. She understood excellence, variety of projects. So she had them work on a lot of different jobs. 364 hours, 72 hours, 65 hours, 99 hours, 28 hours, 63 hours. This is good feedback. Good feedback. This person not will hire again, but we don't know why. We could look at the position to figure it out. And how long ago was this? This was about a year ago. So would she get interviewed? She would stay on my short list. She wouldn't be one of my favorites. She wouldn't make the cut unless she let these jobs go. But she's got 5s, a lot of them. She's worked a lot of hours for employers. Employers are leaving a lot of positive feedback here. The problems we've seen are clearly from things that we recognized to be a problem before we hired her. So would I hire her over the 444 an hour one? I don't know. That 444 would probably win right now because this one's working too many jobs. But I would keep her on my short list. Yvonne would at least make my short list. So Mariel here didn't work enough, but in this one's 667, so she didn't really work enough to be able to have enough feedback. Here, I'll show you. 100 earned. If we come in here, there are some, but they're all jobs in progress. 4 jobs in progress and only 1 negative feedback. But again, if she's worked these for quite a few hours like she has, that to me shows she's probably doing a pretty good job here. But that's pretty tough. 45 hours to get that. Hold on, working until further notice. Yeah, she charged us. Moreover, the daily screenshots show that she was not working at all during time. That's a problem, and I'll show you this. This person's saying she was charging you when she wasn't doing the work, but and I'll show you that. So that's how I go through and screen. Now, we hired in this position. Let's look at our candidate. Let's look at the shortlisted people that we went with. These are people here, $6 an hour, $7 an hour. This position we weren't hiring for $6, $7, or we were willing to hire for more money. 70,000 earned. That's a lot of money to earn on Upwork. That's insane. Okay. And we can look at these jobs. Look at this: 75 jobs, 2 jobs. See all the history here that we have. I mean, it's how can you mess this up? Like, I mean, how can you screw up hiring somebody when you have 75 jobs that have left feedback for you to make a hiring decision? Like, I mean, I don't even know how you can mess that up. Because look at all the feedback I have here, 5 O's. Look at all the comments I have. Look at all the comments, and on and on and on and on. Okay, and I can come here and look at the kind of job she did. So again, it's pretty tough to not be able to make a good hiring decision based on this alone. Skills, employment history, education, 2 bachelor's degrees. this is a really, really solid applicant. 70 hours worth of work, tons of experience, multiple bachelor's degrees. This is somebody that is a really good applicant at $7 an hour. So that gives you a range there of $4 to $7 an hour to give you an idea of what you're going to get. So let's look at some other things here. I want to show you what that person talked about. They said that their work history, because some people say, look, I don't want to hire somebody from overseas because I don't know what they're doing. Well, what happens here is you have the ability with Upwork to see what's called a work diary. And with the work diary, let me see if I can see. I don't even think she's active right now. Save. I'm trying to see. I don't see her work diary. I don't even know if I can pull up a work diary because all these people ended. Yeah, I don't even know if I could pull up a work diary. I'm gonna try to look here. Jinky. She's one of our okay. So data entry, online research, save, hire now. Trying to look because a lot of them will have. I don't think I have any active people. We move them all from Upwork once they work for us for a period of time. So I don't think that I have any of her work history here to even be able to look at. Let me go back up here to saved. No, my hires, and see if I have anybody that's active. Rehire, 3 hours. I don't think Jared probably has work history. So I don't see that, but they do have like a work history where what happens is when they're working, they take random screenshots. Of their screen while they're working, and then you can see what they're actually working on. Okay, so it really is that easy that usually when they're working in here, and that's Sarah who works with me now, you can see what's called their work diary, and I don't see Sarah's work diary here because she's not currently employed. And the work diary will then show you what they do. So when they're logging hours through Upwork, you don't want them to log manual hours. You want to make sure they log hours. When they log their hours through Upwork, Upwork randomly takes computer screenshots of their screen, and then you can go in their work diary and see what they're working on. So you can clearly verify they're working on what you want them to be, because you can go to their work diary and you can see what exactly it is that they are working on while they're actually logging those hours. So I'm trying to look here just to see. Oh wait, here we go. Okay, boom, found it. Okay, so here's her work history. Here's the invoices of what I paid, but here's my work diary. Check this out. I'm able to come into work diary and I'm looking for certain days that she worked. And then she claimed all manual time, which we don't accept now, but this is where we would actually physically see screenshots of when she's working on during the hours she's working. You don't want to use manual time because you see what I'm seeing here. But when I'm not looking at manual time and I have it done correctly, you can actually see exactly what they've been working on. Now that I figured out how to do that, let me go to Sarah and see if I can find out Sarah and see if I can find her work diary here. Okay, so work diary. Okay, so here's an example of Sarah. So you can see what this looks like. You can see that I'm pulling up screenshots of what she's working on. So she's logging time here, and I can click these images and I can see what she's doing during the time that she's logging time. So it's kind of hard for me to get screwed over here because like I can clearly see what she's working on. Like she's clearly working on our stuff right here. And you can go through these images like this and I can see what she's working on through a day. So I know she's working because I've got plenty of evidence here that she's working. Now, I've only once ever had one person that wasn't working, and she was from the United States. She was the person that mailed out my credit dispute letters, and all of a sudden, like, we weren't getting any results, and we realized because she was not actually physically mailing the letters. She was going into her software and showing them as mail when they weren't mailed, and when I went into her work diary, she was working other jobs and logging hours under us, which you need to know that not only did I crush her on feedback, I followed her. She kept trying to come back on Upwork and would create new profiles, and then I would hire her, and then I would immediately fire her and leave horrible feedback of what she'd done in the past and that she was trying. I kept her off Upwork for many years and did not let her get back on here. Okay, but I've only had that happen once with a US employee. It never happened before. So this is how you know that the person's doing what you need them to do. So you've got somebody hired, you come through, and like I said, that's what I do. I go through, if they have good employment history, I'm going to come in with basic questions like, hey, like, you know, here's some follow-up questions. What hours can you work? How many hours can you dedicate for me a week? Those type of questions that I really need answered. And then I hire them. Now, when I hire them and it comes time to train them, I use Loom. Loom is free, Loom, and you could pay for their upgraded service. And I love Loom. Loom is an online screen recorder. So if I hit this button right here, it automatically fires up Loom, and then it lets me record either my screen, my cam, or my screen and my cam. Hey, what's up? What's up? See, fueled by positive energy. So this actually, Loom will let you record both, as you can see, and it works really, really, really well. So I like Loom because it's good to do like both the screen recordings in this, or just to like do camera, like you could just do this, or you could do both. So either way, I like working with Loom because it's really easy to use and it records your stuff, and it doesn't, like, you don't have to upload it anywhere. It's pretty cool. So that being said, I use Loom. This is what Loom looks like. And then what I do is I come in and I basically do recordings of the job that I'm trying to get them to do. So you're going to be able to hear this maybe, but let me go back. This is a job I assigned to one VA and then moved to another VA. So here's my Loom recording. Hey buddy, it's Ty. So I sent you this task the other day for industry, and you can reach out to her, see where she get the original data, which is the most industry, or which, for example, which core clients came from accounting and finance, what percentage came from automotive, what percentage come from banking, et cetera, et cetera. Here's my problem. I don't understand what she did. You can see here that accounting and finance accounts for 16%, but then she says 32 out of 202. But that doesn't make any sense to me, because 2 out of 202. Well, so I'm having this VA fix a job that I never should have given to another VA, but let me see if it's any better. Number here, the however many out of however many should always be the exact same number. Like, again, if we found that 200 core clients filled out this section, then that should always be however many, 32 out of 200. So you can see that I'm basically just fired up Loom and I'm saying, hey man, this is what I need done. And I'm showing them and giving them examples of exactly what I would need worked on. Maybe you could hear that, maybe you couldn't. I think you could. I have my pop filter that's covering my mic to try to make it so you can't hear background noise. But let me see if I can find a list combining task. Okay, so let me see if I can find this one here. All right, so let's see what we got here. Bit of help here, as you can see on our on some lists that we're going to create. So let me kind of give you a rundown. So I've got two different lists here. The first one is information from our back office. What I basically need to be done is I need these two to overlap. I basically need all the people that come from this finance suite data export, and I need them to be found here on this other list. Everything else. So you can see what's basically is going on. I'm just doing Loom, and I used to do this differently. I used to actually write out every single step of the task. Now let me teach you what I do. Now I video it, and if it's a long-term task, I make them write out the steps to the task. So I video it, and then we keep all of what we call a wiki. We keep it in a Zendesk, which is Zendesk Guides, that maps out every job in the company and how to do every job. Listen, this is important. So what I do is I have the virtual assistant, I film how to do the task. Then I have them go into our wiki and I make them take screenshots and step by step map out how to do the task. So if that person ever leaves the organization, we have an article of how to do every single one of their own jobs. Literally, like, they're replacing themselves. So I do a video, here's what I want you to do. And then when we give it to the virtual assistant, they go into our wiki in Zendesk and say, step 1, log in, here's the username and password, here's a screenshot, step 2. And then literally I assign the task and they map out step by step with screenshots how to do the task, which is freaking brilliant, because then somebody else comes in and they're able to do that as well in the future if we need them to, or the VA leaves. So that is, for the most part, what you really need to know here. We've talked about where to go to hire, Upwork, onlinejobs.ph at worst case scenario. We talked about exactly how to hire. We looked at the applicants. We looked at what their positive rankings were. We talked about hours they may work, how to put up the job descriptions, questions that you may ask them. Now, we communicate through our VAs through the same channels we communicate with everybody through in our company. Slack is how we typically communicate. And all of our VAs come through Slack. They're set up with Slack as well. And then that way they are communicating on the exact same channels the rest of our team is. Before we started using Slack, I communicated with them mostly on Skype. I don't like to communicate in here because I'm not always in here. So I would communicate in Skype, but now that we use Slack, which I recommend, by the way, then we communicate with all of our VAs through Slack. And then again, for instructions, we use Loom, we record it, we have them map out step by step what they're doing, how they're doing it, etc. So I have found that there really is not a lot of tasks that VAs cannot do if you give good video instructions of how to do the task. I'll give video instructions, I send it to them, I have them do the task. It's usually not perfect. I'll have them make an adjustment here, there, and then by probably a weekend, they're doing it exactly as I want them to do it consistently. And for some reason, American employers, I have a serious problem with that. They'll do a job, then they fall off on the quality of the job. I don't see that with Filipinos. Like they're doing the same quality of work week one as they are like 2 years down the road. Like they are big time consistent. What can't VAs do? Well, high-level critical thinking does not work well for them. Making all kinds of elaborate decisions without you giving them a matrix to follow of when to make certain decisions doesn't work. So when I had Sarah determine the dispute letters that went out, I gave her a metrics that said, look, if it's this, send these letters. If it's this, and send these letters. If I just kind of gave her an overview and had her wing it, she would not do well. They don't do well with critical problem solving and reasoning. They do very well if they're given clear-cut instructions of how to do a task, and then you expect them to do the task. If you expect them to make all kinds of their own decisions and determinations, it ain't going to work out well for you at all. Okay, so again, video instructions. Can you teach them how to do the task? If you can do that, they're probably going to work out well. If you're not, probably not. If it's critical thinking, those type of things, probably not. So I'm going to wrap up and I'm going to open this up to questions. Any questions you have, go ahead and get them typed in. So a lot of things we covered here today. First of all, hire a virtual assistant immediately. Okay, it's $4 to $5 an hour. Hire them for 10 hours a week. Who cares? Hire them for 5 hours a week just to test what I'm telling you. $5 an hour, 5 hours a week. It's $100 a month to remove 5 hours worth of work off of you. Just test it out. It doesn't cost you anything to hire them. Hire them for $5 or to run a job post. Run a job post. See what you got. Find an applicant. Get somebody in your organization for $5. Excel log the stuff you do during the week. Look at what you do in a day and say, that sucks. I don't want to do that. I shouldn't be doing that. Give them those tasks. Fire up Loom. Here's how to do this. By the way, I want you to map out step by step what I just showed you and include screenshots in a doc. Make that the first task they do. Then have them do the task. Work with them a couple times. Fine tune it. See that they did the job perfectly. Now it's done. So how we use them as an example is when I have a webinar, okay, that Sarah or Joni, I will send her the webinar description. She will set up the webinar. She will set up the email webinar invites. Okay, the webinar takes place. She will get the recording. She will download the recording. She will upload the recording to YouTube. She will take the webinar description and put it up there for YouTube. She will apply the tags. She will schedule the release of the video on YouTube. Okay, they will put she will search the topic of it in YouTube to see what keywords we don't rank well with, and then we'll put together a title description that meets that will get us ranked high for that video. She will take that video and get it over and have a professional voiceover done for us. She will have the actual PowerPoint designed and put it in the back office for our partners. She will take the voiceover video once it's done and put it in the back office for our partners and put it on YouTube and schedule it for release and put the descriptions and the tags and I mean on and on and on. There's so many things. So what happens now is when I do like a video, it goes like 15 different places. And I can get it to go 20 different places because it costs me no time. I go, hey, Sarah, or hey, Joni, I want this video to now go here as well. Hey, I now want it to become an iTunes podcast. So now take the same thing, put it up on iTunes, get the intro video, the intro done, the outro done, put it up there onto the actual, to Libsyn where the podcast goes live, put in the description, set up the whole podcast, release the podcast on the next available date. It's all done. And all I do is do the webinar. And like, it has to be 50 other steps that are done for that to go everywhere are all done. So that gives you an idea of the depth of what you can get them to help do. JL, how would you rate their skills at cold calling leads? And do you provide the scripts for them to use? I'd absolutely say the skill set is 8 or 9. You need to get good voice recordings. Our setters kill it. Our setters absolutely kill it. So let me look here. I'll give you real numbers. Because that's how I am, and I will show you guys real numbers on anything you guys ever want to see. So let me go into Graphly and let me just see if I can find my setters board here to get an idea here of where they actually are. So setters. So here's my setters board here. And so you can see here that this is what they did last month. I don't know. So setter sales this month. I don't have anything last month. Appointment, setter sales last month. So this is how many sales we made as a result of appointments they set from these 4 reps, 10, 12, 16, 11. That's what, an average of 12 or 13 that they did. So we're making about 12 to 13 sales every single month from them calling leads, setting up appointments for our sales team to then close. Now, in all fairness, these are not cold calls. They are calling our existing email database, but we did have them calling cold. It's just cold callings. It's nasty. You don't get a lot of stuff depending on the quality of your list. They're calling our list, and these are the results that we get from them. And yes, absolutely, they follow a script. And then Annie, which she's not even on here, Annie then got promoted and she now runs our entire sales team. So hopefully that helps you there. Okay. Which US banks are best to use to be able to transfer ACH? You can transfer ACH to anywhere. I think it's Metro Bank. It's not the US bank that's the problem. It's the bank in the Philippines that can accept it that's the problem. I think it's like Metro Bank is the one. There's one in the Philippines you need to use. Any of the US banks can transfer money to them. And which bank did you say VA? That answers both your questions. How do you track the work of a VA at site Upwork when hired direct? I don't know because I don't do that. I use Upwork for all the reasons I've shown you because I get the employment history, because I can track their hours and I have that work diary. I cannot, I will tell you there are things, I don't know if Timesheets does it, but there's other software like Upwork that you could do that screen recording on. I don't know anything about it because we've only ever used Upwork, but that would be my answer. My answer is we don't do it. We've never done it. I don't know because we only use Upwork to hire VAs, but I believe there's something similar to what Upwork has where you could do this, and I would use that if I had to. That would be my choice there. Are they able to set up a drip email campaign? Absolutely. Sarah and Joni will walk circles around probably everybody on this call, my hand included, in Infusionsoft. Sarah's worked in Infusionsoft for 12 years. She could build out complete email campaigns, automation that'll make your head spin. So she knows IS better than I know Infusionsoft. So they absolutely can do that. And she creates all the emails for me in those email campaigns as well. So I'm going to wrap this up. I mean, we pretty much covered it all. What kind of VAs you're looking for, where you go to hire, how you hire them, how you train them, how you know you're going to get the right candidates. Guys, I can tell you that we've let very, very, very few virtual assistants go. I can tell you that we've let probably 3 to 1 US employees go to virtual assistants. There's no drama. That's why Megan says she loves them. She goes, there's no drama. They never complain. They never say anything. Like, there's zero drama with virtual assistants. They're not like United States people. They're not entrepreneurs. They're not going to go take all your secrets and go start another competing business ever. I've never seen that happen. They don't think that way. They don't think the way that we think as entrepreneurs. So I've never had to worry about them taking my stuff and go working with somebody else or leaving. In the Philippines, the unemployment rate's outrageously high. To get a job working from home for a US employer is like hitting the lottery over there. Like, it's hitting the lottery. Like, if you get them and you take care of them and you don't abuse them and you give them incremental pay raises every year like you should, then you're never going to leave them. They're never going to leave you. Like nobody quits. Like our Filipinos never quit because like they have a dream job. They work from home. They're part of a team. They absolutely love it. And so very rarely, if you follow what I've shown you here, do you have to let them go. Very rarely, especially if you hire based on past job performance history like I showed you. So I'm going to wrap this up. Again, now you know everything you need to know to hire. The key is to go put up a job in Upwork. Just throw up a job. Go through, narrow them down like I told you. Look and see if I'm wrong. Look and say, well, man, this person for $4.50 an hour, I mean, why not? I'll give them 5 hours worth of work. Do what I did with Sarah. Give her 5 hours worth of work. And then all of a sudden she removes that 5 hours and you're like, okay, that's crazy. I just like spent $25. So, okay, like I saved 5 hours of time. If you can't make more than $5 in an hour, like you got problems. I could walk out on my street right here and hold a sign up and make more than $5 an hour. So the bottom line is your time is worth more than you're hiring these people for. You could easily make many times $5 if you got that hour's worth of time back. Get them, hire them for 5 hours. And then you gain 5 hours back of your time. You could easily make more than $25 in that 5 hours of time you gain. And when you realize that, then you go, wow, they're crushing it. Now I can do more that I wouldn't have done without them, right? Now I can take a video, a webinar, and make it into 15 different uses because it cost me no time and very little money. And then all of a sudden you're able to use that time for things that it's better well spent that will make you many times what you're paying them. That's my advice. Start them at $5 an hour. Do an Excel log of what you don't want to do in a day or what you're doing in a day. Pick what you don't want to do. Pick what's not worthy of your time and give it to them and see what happens. And you'll see that you're going to have a lot of success if you follow the system that I showed you here. So this will be available in your back office. I don't have any other questions, probably as soon as tomorrow, but that's my advice. Check it out, run a job, eliminate the people I told you to eliminate, look at the good candidates, reach out to them, hire them for 5 hours. I'm telling you, this is how we built Credit Suite from the ground up. I had no supplies. When I started here, I worked as part of a division of a company. They gave me $100 in ad spend a month. I could spend $100 without asking for permission. I got the division to $1 million a year, and I had $100 I was allowed to spend without asking somebody for permission. It was insane. And I did it all by using virtual assistants to help me get the whole thing off the ground and made everybody's head spin of how it was possible using VAs. They can help you push your business to such new heights because you're able to get really good talent that's very reliable for very cheap, freeing up more time to work on the business, not in the business. Check it out. I swear by this. Like I said, it's one of the most important things I think you can do in business, especially in starting a business, which is why we have 25 plus team members here at Credit Suite that are hired exactly the same way. I'm going to wrap this up, everybody. If you have any questions, reach out to us and let us know. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great day, everybody.